How can you make the best decision? A decision that is truly good for you and it comes from the right place, not from the ego, not from the fear, but it's really something that can serve you and you don't regret making the decision later. Today I want to give you 3 tips on making the right decision for you. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sylvia Salow and I help light workers, starseeds, priestesses and all the people on the spiritual journey to find their true self, step into their potential, into their soul's power and unlock their gifts and purpose. And today I want to talk about making decisions. This is something that paralyzes most people. And I want to share my tips on how to make that process a little bit easier. But first, why does it feel so difficult to make decisions sometimes? Decisions are expressions of who we are, what you decide you become, and it reflects where you have been many times. Although you should more make decisions from that future version of you. I made another video on this. It's called How to Make Decisions as Your Higher Self. So you can check that out as well. But decisions are truly important in this reality because what we have is free will. But if we don't utilize free will and we keep repeating the same decisions based on our conditioning or something else, based on our fears, limitations, based on the ego, we keep stuck in the same loops. And the way how to get out of those loops and also how to shift those timelines is through making decisions. And I think subconsciously we all feel it. And that's why we are so afraid of making a wrong choice. And so when we are deciding, we are using our free will. And this is truly the most important tool that we have. And if we are not choosing anything, if we are not deciding, it is also a choice, a decision. But it usually just brings the same results and the same energy. So when we are postponing making decisions, when we outsource it to other people, we are not truly using our free will to the best of our ability, because the way how you can unlock some next level is always through the choices you are making. And some choices are really big ones, life-changing, and some are really tiny, but all of them are important because they are expressions of who you are becoming, and also of your free will. Decisions are truly the only thing you can really impact on. Through decisions, you create your own life. So if you don't feel confident with making the right choices for you, then start small. Start making simple choices. What time you get up in the morning? What do you after you get up? Decisions about what you are going to eat. Like really simple decisions. Start wherever you are and build up that confidence in yourself. Confidence comes through practicing, through repetition. When you do something 100 times, 1,000 times, it becomes easier and easier. And it's also a journey of really getting to know yourself better. When you are making decisions, you are truly choosing what is that next level you are tapping into. So start practicing those choices somewhere where it feels easy. And here are my 3 tips. So when making decisions, imagine that potential reality as a result of the decision. You can also imagine the alternative reality and ask yourself, does this bring me more life force energy or does it leak my energy? Does it generate life force energy for me? Or am I just depleting my life force energy through that choice? Because those things that are good for you, and remember, what's good for you is not good for everyone else, it's just good for you, should always bring you fresh new energy, and you should also feel your life force energy getting more heightened and increased. So for those of you who have been through a Kundalini awakening, a life force energy awakening, you should feel it very strongly. So if you feel, when you imagine that alternative scenario of that choice making you feel more energetic, then it's a good thing. So you feel a fresh new energy coming to you when you imagine that choice. On the other hand, if you imagine that if you decide the option B, it's depleting your energy, it makes you feel tired, it perhaps makes you feel stress, it makes you feel like, your energy just like goes down, then it's not the best thing for you at that moment. So does it generate more life force energy or does it deplete your energy? The second question you can ask yourself is, how does it feel once I have achieved it? So let's say you are considering moving to a different country. Imagine yourself actually being there. So you have the new home, everything is settled in. How does it feel now once you have achieved it? And again, notice if you feel like energetic expansion, if it feels light, or if it feels heavy, energetically heavy. Is your body expanding or is it contracting when you imagine that? And then imagine the same outcome, like, having moved to a different country 3 months after you've been there. How does it feel then? And then how does it feel 6 months later, a year later, 10 years later? If it still feels good, it means it's something that's going to benefit you and it's good for you. If, on the other hand, you feel heaviness around it, then it's not the right timing or it's not the right thing. And the third question is, who do I become once I decide this? I'll give you an example. This is what I share in my memoir, Find Yourself. When I lived in China for the second time, I started studying the Chinese language, Mandarin, at the university there. And I didn't have any background in Chinese whatsoever. I couldn't say anything. So naturally, I went to the beginner class. But I've been there like one day and it felt so like depleting, and it felt so like I was just thinking, so with this speed, I'll not be able to speak Mandarin. This is like for babies. And although logically, like, I didn't have any knowledge of the Mandarin whatsoever, it just didn't feel good. And we had like, I think 1 or 2 weeks when we could switch the class to a different one. So I was thinking to go to actually intermediate level, from without having any basics. And I took a couple of days to think about it. And what I realized during that process is that it is a reflection of who I am and who I will become. Because I'm someone who always takes challenges that are good, not pressure, but those positive challenges that build you up. And I realized that if I would take the easy path, it's not who I am, and it's definitely not who I want to become. And so I realized I need to go to the intermediate level to challenge myself. And I can tell you, the first 2 weeks, I didn't understand anything. I couldn't read a single character. The teacher didn't speak any English. I felt like lost, but I studied hard. I studied super hard. And after 2 weeks, something changed in my mind and I started to understand. And I was able to start reading those characters. And then it felt simple and easy. But I think it wouldn't have been possible if I decided that, I just take it easy, or I cannot do this. This may not apply to everyone, right? This is the thing. You ask yourself who you want to become through that choice. So basically, what would your future self do? And maybe it is to take something easy or to take the safe path. But maybe you realize that you are ready to challenge yourself. So who do you become when you decide something? What that choice will bring you? How does it change how you perceive yourself? How you feel about yourself on the inside? What does it speak about you, that choice? Is it aligned with who you are and who you want to become? And one bonus thing, which I know may be more difficult, but I'll just share it with you. Have a look if that choice comes from the ego or from the soul. If it comes from the ego, again, it feels heavy. It maybe feels like you have to. There's lots of like pushing, forcing, and it's something that maybe looks good for other people, but it doesn't feel good internally, and it definitely doesn't bring you joy. On the other hand, if it comes from the soul, you feel again that sense of expansion, you feel that joy, and it feels very like pure and light. And even if it's difficult, like something like going to an intermediate level of Chinese, it feels good, it feels spacious, it feels light, and you are like, you know that you don't have to do it, but you also know that it will be fine. There's no like heaviness, there's no pushing around it. So also ask yourself, is it the ego or is it the soul? And if you want to know other tools how to make decisions, as I mentioned, you can check out my other video on how to make choices as your higher self. And if you want to go even deeper and have yet another tool, you can get access to my masterclass. It's called the Higher Heart Chakra Masterclass, which you can find on my website. And there I teach you how to make decisions through the Higher Heart Chakra. And it's really a beautiful tool how to make it as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please let me know in the comments below, what are your way of making decisions? Do you have any tips? Please share it with us, and see you next time.